Most Americans think they already know this story. A peaceful march. A famous speech. A dream about equality. But what if I told you that before the dream inspired the world, it terrified America? Before those words echoed across Washington, people were beaten for demanding basic dignity, arrested for sitting in the wrong place, killed for trying to vote. This is not a comfortable story, but it is a true American story, and it changed the country forever. In the 1950s and early 1960s, the United States called itself the leader of the free world. But freedom depended on where you lived and what color your skin was. In the South, Jim Crow laws enforced racial segregation by law. Black Americans and white Americans lived in separate realities. Separate schools, separate hospitals, separate restaurants, separate drinking fountains. Even the right to vote was controlled by fear. Poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation. This system was not accidental. It was built, protected by courts, enforced by police, and for decades, it was considered normal. Change did not begin with a speech. It began quietly. In 1955, a seamstress named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She was arrested. Her crime? Refusing to obey segregation. That single act ignited the Montgomery bus boycott, a year-long protest by black citizens demanding equal treatment. Leading the boycott was a 26-year-old pastor, soft-spoken, educated, and deeply religious. His name was Martin Luther King Jr. King believed that violence would only strengthen oppression. Instead, he preached nonviolent resistance, inspired by Christian teachings and Mahatma Gandhi. His message was simple, but dangerous: that injustice must be confronted without becoming unjust. As protests spread across the South, the response was brutal. Peaceful demonstrators were met with police dogs. Children were blasted with fire hoses. Men and women were dragged into jail cells. But something new was happening. America was watching, on television. For the first time, millions of Americans saw violence against peaceful citizens in real time. The question could no longer be ignored. How could a nation built on liberty deny equality to its own people? On August 28, 1963, more than 250,000 people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial. Black and white, young and old, workers, students, clergy, and activists. They came demanding jobs, civil rights, and dignity. The government feared chaos. Police and National Guard units stood ready. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of many speakers that day. His speech was carefully prepared, written, timed. But as he spoke, he looked out at the crowd. And he felt something shift. Abandoning his script, King began to speak from the heart. I have a dream that his children would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. A dream where freedom would reign. From the mountains of New Hampshire to the hills of California. These words were more than hope. They were a moral challenge to America. King didn't accuse. He invited the nation to become better than it was. That speech traveled around the world. It became one of the most famous moments in American history. But the dream had a cost. After the march, attacks against civil rights activists increased. Bombings, threats, murders. The FBI monitored King constantly. Politicians labeled him a threat to national stability. In parts of America, he was despised, not admired. Still, he continued. Because King understood something fundamental. That progress never comes without resistance. In 1964, after years of protest, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act. It outlawed segregation and banned discrimination based on race. In 1965, the Voting Rights Act followed, finally protecting the right to vote for millions of black Americans. These laws did not end racism, but they dismantled its legal foundation. For the first time, equality was enforced by the law, not denied by it. On April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. America erupted in grief. Cities burned. Communities mourned. Many thought the dream had died with him. But the dream lived on. In court decisions. In classrooms. In voices that refused to be silent. The civil rights movement reshaped not only laws, but how Americans understood freedom, justice, and equality. It forced the nation to confront itself. The civil rights movement was not a moment. It was a turning point. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded America that democracy is not inherited. It is demanded. The dream was never meant to stay in 1963. It was meant to be carried forward. And it still asks us a question today. What will we do with it?